Welcome everyone back to the Windy City MMA YouTube channel. I am Jordan. This is Lewis. This is our UFC Fight Night Oliveira versus Gamrot breakdown betting prediction. We will start at the bottom per usual, which it looks like they're switching up a little bit. Oh no, maybe not. We got Saimon Oliveira versus Luan Lacerda. Saimon Oliveira is 18 and 6. He's 0 and 3 in the UFC. He's been finished in his last two, most recently a first round KO loss to David Martinez in March of this year. He sits at the plus 200 underdog in this fight, fighting Luan Lacerda. Lacerda is 12 and 3, but he is 0 and 2 in the UFC as well. He is coming off a second round knockout loss to Damon Blackshear, and he sits at the minus 250 favorite in this one. What are you thinking, Lewis?
Okay, now this one's a hard fight to pick because I was gonna pick on the easy minus what did you say, 200?
Yeah, he's like a minus
Uh
250 in this fight.
yeah. But I do see that he just got knocked out by Damon Blackshear. Now Damon Blackshear is known for more of his ground game, so more of his submissions. And for him to get KO'd by Damon Blackshear, it had a raised question. Um, this is this is a big of a how do I say it? Big of an odd difference. I guess in between them. They're both like kind of lower level MMA in the UFC. I am gonna
Yeah,
pick
100%.
Oliveira to no, sorry. I am gonna pick on
Lacerda
the yes.
to win this fight. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm gonna pick Lacerda. You're good. Both these guys, like you said, it's a little lower level. They're both looking for the first win in the UFC. Both are on the same age, 34 and 32. Reach is about the same. Lacerda's gonna be the taller man. So I'm gonna pick him in this fight as a money line. I don't think I'll be betting. Odds seem a bit wide as both of them have not won a fight in the UFC. Lacerda hasn't even fought since 2023. So I hope that means he's back ready to go. He has the power in this matchup. So give me Lacerda as well. Take him. So we're both on the favorite, but neither of us are confident in him, as it is an interesting level of UFC fight. We will move to Julia Polastri versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm not even going to try. Continue to try that.
Yeah.
So Polastri is 13 and 5. She is 1 and 2 in the UFC and coming off a decision loss to Lupi Godinez. She is a heavy minus 450 favorite in this fight going up against Karolina. Karolina is 16 and 9. She's 9 and 9 in the UFC coming off a decision loss to Denise Gomes. She is a huge plus 350 underdog in this fight, and it's probably what it's gonna be. Women's MMA favorite by decision will be the pick. Pilastri's 12 years younger, and I think she's just gonna win a decision here. I don't think I'll have any bets on it. What are you thinking? Maybe fight could go the distance, actually.
Yeah.
Fight could,
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Julia. Yeah, I think Julia's gonna win a decision. I think Carolina's gonna be she's close to being 40 years old. She's close on her last fights in the UFC. And this might actually be her last one.
yeah,
I would, you know, it's kind of hard going against a younger fighter. So I'm taking Julia by decision.
fair. There you go. We're both on Pilastri by decision. We move to the next fight of the evening. Valter Walker versus Mohammed Usman. Walker is 14 and 1. He's 3 and 1 in the UFC. A three-fight heel hook submission win streak. He's beaten Junior Tafa. He's beaten Dante Almeida, and most recently Kennedy Nzechukwu, all by heel hook. He is a big minus 310 favorite in this fight going up against Mohammed Usman. Mohammed Usman is Kamaru Usman's brother, and he is 11 and 4, 4 and 2 in the UFC, and coming off a decision win over Hamdi Abdelawad. That was Both of those guys seemed like they were trying to lose the fight, but Muhammad ended up winning it after a two-fight decision skid before that. He is the plus 250 dog here. I'll keep it short and sweet. Walker's younger and he's better. I don't think either of them are crazy, but I do not think Usman is good. He has power and he's an athlete, but he's slower, and I'm taking Walker. Honestly, maybe another submission by heel hook. I'm gonna look at what the odds look like that there. I mean, dude, Walker Usman has the wrestling and he's strong and powerful, but he's not an MMA. He's not MMA good. He's athlete good.
Correct.
So Walker by submission. I'm gonna look and see what a heel hook looks like. It's probably gonna be really juiced because he's probably gonna be looking for it, and he very well could find it. I think they're just trying to build Walker, especially in Brazil, against an athlete sort of name like Usman, where they could say he beat Kamaru's brother. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I think this is going to be, I hope there's some props for the over 1.5, or even just to even make it safer to start round number two.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mohammed Usman, like you said, he has that wrestling background, he has that football background. So he has like that athlete background, like you just said. Like you said, he's also not that MMA athlete yet, you know? But what I do see is him possibly making it, keeping the distance. He already knows what Walker's gonna do. So just keep the distance and possibly make it out the first round. I remember Valter Walker's first fight was against Lucas Brzeski,
yeah,
and he lost in a decision. But I guess he just found his new go-to, which is a heel hook. But it might happen in the second round. But I think there is a world where Muhammad Usman can make it at least out of the first round.
dicey, yeah,
And
close.
yeah,
Hey, the Walker brothers. I mean, the Walker brothers are on a resurgence. Walker's on
yeah,
this streak. Johnny's just won his last fight. They're at home, or he's at home, so it could be a second or third. He could just win a dominant fight. Muhammad's slow, man. He's very
yeah.
slow.
That's exactly
So,
yeah. And that's why I don't want to pick him. I just know that he's capable of getting out of the first round.
100%.
Baltimore can, yeah, Baltimore can finish it, but I think this is a good fight for him to showcase his other MMA styles,
100%.
boxing, and most important is cardio. Because after this W, I think he's gonna fight a ranked opponent. So he's gonna need
Yeah,
to
true.
show a little bit more, in my opinion.
He might as well, considering there's not a lot in the 15 to 10 range. So if they're
Heavyweight
gonna want
division,
to, yeah, if they're gonna try to build
yeah,
him, they could definitely start looking there if he gets like another first or second round submission win here. So we're both on Walker. Maybe fight to start
exactly.
round two. Maybe Walker second round submission. We'll take a look at that kind of stuff when it comes out, as it's not out yet for the early prelims, or I guess the prelims in general. We
Yeah.
will move Lucas Rocha versus Stewart Nicoll. Lucas Rocha is 17-2. He is 0-1 in the UFC and coming off a submission loss to Clayton Carpenter in his UFC debut of October of last year. He is a slight -122 favorite in this fight, going up against Stewart Nicoll. Nicoll is 8-1, also 0-1 in the UFC, coming off also a submission loss to Jesus Aguilar in his UFC debut of August of last year, and he is the slight +102 underdog. What are you thinking?
I like between both of these fighters. The funny thing, they both got subbed in
Yeah,
uh, I guess their UFC debut or in their last fight. Um, I really really liked what I saw from Lucas Rocha though. First round was pretty nice. Second round got caught, I believe, in the second round he got caught in a submission. I'm taking him. He's at home. He's gonna have the fan base for sure, and I think he's gonna do it. I don't know if he's gonna do it inside the distance or take it to the distance, but I really like what I saw from him from his last two fights, and well, rewatching the tape, and I'm high on him. Hopefully he gets the W and goes on a good crazy win streak.
yeah, I
Like,
agree with you. I agree with you. I'm gonna take Rocha as well. You know, Carpenter. A little foreshadowing here. I think Carpenter is very good. So Rocha was a dog, a bigger one at that against Carpenter, not as much expected to win there. On the other hand, Nicoll was the favorite in his debut against Aguilar. So I'm gonna take Rocha in this fight to pressure Nicoll, Brazilian, pick up his first win at home, first UFC win at home. I agree. Lucas Rocha's the pick. We will move. Bia or Beatriz Mesquita versus Irina Alekseva. So, Irina Alekseva is 5-3. She's 1-2 in the UFC and on a two-fight win streak, or two-fight loss streak, sorry. Most recently to Claudia Sayula. She's Russian Ronda is her nickname, and she's the plus 425 underdog right now in this fight, fighting Beatrice or Bia Mesquita. Mesquita's 5-0 in pro MMA. She's making her UFC debut here. Four of her five MMA wins, though, have come in LFA, and all five of her wins have come by finish. She is the minus 575 favorite in this fight. And although their ages are very similar, Mesquita is the prospect in this fight. Um, and I do expect her to pick up a win. Russian Ronda coming into the UFC, I thought she was going to be decent. She's Kazakhstani. She has a cool nickname. She seemed tough, and she is tough. Um, and I thought she was going to be good, but it hasn't really shown to be the case with her in her first three fights in the UFC. She's been losing a lot. B is the prospect. Unbelievable, unbelievable grappling ability she has. So I think she's gonna just be looking for a submission. I'll probably see what that is. I think it's gonna be crazy juiced. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna take Bia Mesquita by probably submission or decision. But I forgot who it was a couple weeks ago, that other woman making her UFC debut with unbelievable grappling ability, and she lost her UFC debut because she didn't have the dog in her, and the level of competition in the UFC is different. So I'm gonna take Bia, but probably won't be betting it. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I took that into consideration, and I also took the heavyweight uh BJJ guy who made his debut about a month or 2 months ago,
Yes,
and
I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
exactly him. Yeah, we did a breakdown on him. So I took, yeah, these two into consideration. I was gonna pick Irina until I saw her last two losses and just how she looked. You
Yeah,
can lose, but if you're doing an amazing job, it's okay. Like you just got, you know,
yeah,
um, the opponent was just a little bit better. But
yeah,
no, I don't see this being the case. I see Bia. I it's your UFC debut, so usually things don't go the best way for her.
yeah,
But I think she's gonna do it by decision. A lot of people are going to be on her submission, which is really live for sure. But considering the UFC debut, considering that Irina has, I guess, that UFC uh like fights under her belt, so I guess she's able to stay, not get subbed at as well. So I'm taking Bia for sure, but I'm taking her by decision in this match. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't see a world where Irina can spoil the night for her
Yeah,
debut.
I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, it was Alice Pereira. Alice Pereira lost to Mazarant Rendon a couple weeks ago when she was the
Mm.
big prospect coming in, and I forgot the other guy that we were talking about, or that you were mentioning. But
Yeah, and then the dude who beat him was like 7-1, 7-2 in the UFC and got cut. What was his name? I just forgot. Not Peterson.
I don't remember. But whatever. We're both on Bia here, but caution as history has shown not to be nice to them. We'll
Yep.
move. Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. Vitor Petrino is 12-2. He is 5-2 in the UFC, coming off a first round submission win over Austin Lane, and he is the minus 300 favorite over Thomas Peterson. Peterson is 10-3. He is 2-2 in the UFC, and coming off a decision win over Dante Mays, and he is the plus 240 dog in this fight. There was a lot of hype around Petrino as he came into the UFC. He
Yep.
beat Rodolfo Bellato in his Dana White Contender Series, started his career 4-0 in the UFC. Then he went on a skid, submitted by Anthony Smith, knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. He's back to his winning ways, though, with a win over Austin Lane, kind of a layup, in my opinion. So in that case, it could be a decent fight because Peterson, I think, is kind of a step up. but I do think Petrino will eventually find a finish here. He's back. He's still in the heavyweight division. I think the Austin Lane fight was his heavyweight debut. Got to finish. He's a big guy. He's very big for light heavyweight, and seems like he's filling out nice in heavyweight. Um, so yeah, give me Petrino. But if Peterson can take him down, make it gritty, he could win. I mean, those like the U.S. Hillbilly types of guys, they have that dog in them sometimes. But I think Petrino will ultimately find the finish. He's another prospect in the heavyweight division that they probably want to build up, considering they need some talent up top. So I'm going to take Petrino. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like exactly what you said. I'm with you. I like Petrino in round two, like in the later rounds,
Yeah,
either round two, round three, maybe even the decision. Um, Peterson is just a bigger guy. He's just naturally the bigger guy. He's gonna be in there like around what 250, 255, and that's just his natural weight. He takes you down, and then there's you guys are just gonna be there on the ground. He's just gonna hold you there until the round's over. Even though he has decent boxing, I just think if Petrino is able to in and out movement and move around the cage, make Peterson tired, he's gonna be able to get it in the later rounds. I don't think it's gonna be an easy one like with Austin Lane. Peterson is a true heavyweight, so I think in the later rounds, maybe even the decision play. But give me Petrino for sure.
I like it. If Vitor Petrino is the play, we will move to the last prelim, which I think is low-key fight of the night potential. We have Jafel Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. Filho is 16-4. He is 2-2 in the UFC, coming off a decision loss to Alan Nascimento, and he is the very slight underdog. With the odds have kind of been flipping. At -102, fighting Clayton Carpenter. Carpenter is 8-1. He is 2-1 in the UFC, coming off a decision loss to Tagir Ulanbekov in a semi-close fight, and he is the slight favorite at -118. Again, the odds have kind of been flipping here as Filho, I believe, opened up the favorite and Carpenter the dog. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go with the dog at home. Jafel Filho.
Filo,
Don't know how to pronounce his. Yeah,
whatever.
Filho, whatever his last name. Um, both of them are great on the ground. I like especially Philo's his fight against Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne is he's kind of I don't want to say a veteran
In
in
a sense,
the
he is, yeah.
I guess he kind of is, but he's been there in the UFC for some decent time.
Yeah.
And he made it look easy. Another fight was against no, his last fight against Nascimento. Even though he got caught in the second round, didn't look that well, and in the third round, but in the third round looked pretty, you know, a little bit better, and ultimately won that round, in my opinion. I think he's going to be at home. It's going to be another Brazilian with the crowd. I think he might even do it inside the distance.
Really.
And submitting him. Yes, I think he has the capability of Carpenter. Even though Carpenter was my pick in the beginning until I saw that he was the favorite. I'm trying to pick at least one or two underdogs, and I think this is a great opportunity for an underdog to to get the W.
Yeah, and I agreed with you at the beginning because Carpenter was an underdog at the beginning until the odds flipped, but I am going Carpenter.
There it is.
I think Carpenter is a dog. That Tagir fight was good. Um, and the Rocha win, whatever. He hasn't lost in the UFC besides Tagir, and I just think he's so tough. He's such a dog. I'm excited to see him fight. But I do think it's going to be very close. Like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of scrambling, a lot of moving around on the ground and see who gets the better positions. But I'm gonna
Yep.
take Carpenter to kind of outdog him. Maybe a decision if Philho gets maybe a couple better of a couple scrambles, but Carpenter wins all the exchanges on the feed or something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna take Carpenter in this fight, and we'll see where the odds end up as they keep moving.
Bet.
So we are split here.
Yep.
We will move. This is the main card. We will move to the main card of the evening. We have Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. Almeida is 15-4. He's 2-3 in the UFC, coming off a split decision loss to Danny Silva. He is the plus 120 underdog in this fight, going up against Michael Aswell. Aswell is 10-3. He is 0-1 in the UFC, coming off a decision loss to Balaji Oki, where he stepped in on short notice, and he is the minus 142 favorite in this fight. I don't really have a crazy thought on this one. I'm gonna take the dog. Speaking of picking dogs, he's fighting at Hope in Brazil, fighting Aswell, who doesn't have really UFC level experience besides Oki. Um, I will say Oki isn't. Um, Oki's good, not crazy, in my opinion.
But,
He's not anything
yep,
crazy. And then he lost to Bogdan Grad on the Contender Series, who seems to be okay so far. But I'm gonna take Lucas Almeida in this fight. What are you thinking?
exact same thing. Yes, that was a little foreshadow from the last fight. This is another fight where I see some value in the underdog. One, mainly because we're in Brazil. Okay. But aside from that, Lucas Almeida needs the W. Absolutely needs the W. Has shown it in the past fights where, well, especially in the last fight, split decision could have very well gone his way. But I think as well, even though he took a fight in short notice, there's just some fighters that are amazing on the other on the regional scene. Amazing, top tier but in the regional scene. Once you hit the UFC, it's a whole other realm. And like you
Yeah.
just said, Lucas Almeida has at least that UFC experience and has been there with some decent fighters. Yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity for the underdog to prevail and especially at home, get his W and hopefully stay in the UFC. I like it. I like Almeida. Yep.
We are both on the dog in Lucas Almeida. We will move to the next fight of the evening, Ricardo Ramos versus Kaan Ofli. So, Ricardo Ramos is 17-7. He is 8-6 in the UFC, and he's coming off a decision loss to Chepe Mariscal, but he is the minus 185 favorite in this fight, going up against Kaan Ofli. Ofli is 11-4-1. He's 0-2 in the UFC, and he is on a two-fight loss streak. Most recently, a decision loss to Mohammed. Ofli is the plus 155 underdog here. I'm taking Ramos. He's making his Fighting Nerds UFC debut. This is his first fight with the Fighting Nerds camp. So I'm going to take him to win this fight. Other than that, he fights otherwise out of Team Alpha Male. So I believe he gets enough good looks in training. And yeah, I'm going to take him in this fight. I don't really have too much else. I mean, Chepe Mascal's a dog. He's fought Charles Jourdain, Julian Erosa, dogs. He's fought some decent competition in the UFC. Whereas Ofli has his only two losses are against so far mid-level competition. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this fight had me a little bit split, just because Ricardo Ramos has had his fair share of wins and losses in the UFC. I really want to take away the fighting nerds aspect out of my head because that just biases me so much.
Fair.
If I take that out of the equation, I think in this fight, hopefully has a decent chance of winning. I know he doesn't have the UFC experience, but he has that he has that grappling. I don't want to say advantage, but just a little bit more of yeah, never mind. I do want to say advantage in which case, because if Charles Jourdain, who is mainly a boxer, can sub you, who else? There's
Yeah, you
Julian
got sub
Erosa.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah, if Julian Erosa can sub Ricardo Ramos, even though this happened in the past, before this all fighting nerds, got into camp and blah blah blah, you got subbed. I think there's a perfectly good chance where Ofli can get a sub in, which is the only play I'm gonna do in this fight. Is just a small prop and it's a small spring on Ofli by submission. Um, Other than that, of course, I want to pick Ramos. He's with the fighting nerds. He's fighting at home. He deserves a win, but I'm picking just a little sprinkle, hopefully by submission. I'm a lot. I'm a. for sure put that in.
Okay, so we are split here. But we got Mon Ramos. He's on Ofli by submission only.
My submission, yep.
We will see how that looks. We will move to the
Write that
next
down.
fight, the heavyweight division, Johanna Diniz versus Mario Pinto. Diniz is 9-1. He is 3-1 in the UFC, coming off a decision win over Alvin Hines, where he was the heavy favorite. Couldn't find a finish, but he won. He's a slight favorite. Again, these odds are kind of flipping around a little bit too at -112 right now, but opened as an underdog. He fights Mario Pinto. Pinto is 10-0. He's 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a second round knockout victory over Austin Lane in his debut. And right now he is the slight underdog at -110, -108, after opening as a favorite. What are you thinking?
I was really high on Jonathan Denise when he was coming up in the beginning of his fights. Two fights I did not like was his previously last two fights. One was Marcin Tybura, and he lost via doctor stoppage. He did not look. That was the first fight where I thought, okay, he's not as talented as we really thought. Then the last fight was against Alvin Hines. Alvin Hines is not the best. He's pretty decent in the regional scene, but he is not UFC material. And the fact that he did not find a an early or even a knockout in the whole fight just amazes me of how maybe he's not that talented that we really thought. Maybe. Now, on the other hand, I see Mario Pinto, who is how much taller? Yeah, two inches taller, has for sure the reach advantage. Can you scroll down? Yeah, am I right?
No,
Oh, okay.
pretty similar.
Now, but I still want to pick Pinto. Um, I think Pinto showed me a little bit more on his last fight. I'm just basing it off his last fight. Showed me a little bit more on, sorry, his last two fights. One against Austin Lane. Then again, Austin Lane isn't the best heavyweight to compare each other. I just think Mario Pinto has that a little more aggression than Jonathan Denise, where Jonathan Denise should have finished Alvin Hines. He should have done it. Didn't show me enough. I think Pinto can take this. And I don't know, is he the you said they kept moving. Is he the
He's the
underdog?
dog right now. He's the dog right
Okay.
now. Yeah.
And there's
But yeah,
value in this one.
it is
I like
moving. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think it's going to be a fun fight, even though it's at heavyweight. They can both throw bombs, and I'm torn because, speaking of, dogs and stuff like that, I was originally high on Denise at dog odds. But with the odds switch, I don't have as much confidence, but I'm still on Denise to win this fight. Um, I I just think I think the Hines fight, he still won. Whatever Hines is, he's not bad, or he's not good, I should say, but he's not bad. He just got popped for roids, so maybe there's a little bit there. I don't know.
that.
I just think he's gonna be more better. I just think he's gonna be better. He doesn't hit harder than Pinto, but I think he's gonna get better and or be better if he doesn't get knocked out. We'll see. But I'm gonna take the knees in this fight, so we're torn here. We're split here, I should say. But I'm not confident. Dude, it's a heavyweight fight. We
Exactly. Time out real quick. If do you think this is the first fight that we're gonna see the first UFC, I guess, night where we're gonna see that a lot of the fighters from their hometown are not gonna win?
I mean, it's
Because they've been on
possible.
a roll. Paris,
I mean,
they got Paris, they had the Mexico card, they had the most recent one.
they could go 0-3 in the next fights. They very
Yeah,
well could.
exactly.
I mean, none of these guys are locks. All these
Nah,
Brazilians.
Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, the only guaranteed Brazilian is the first fight. We'll see. I don't know. I think this is the as close as a lock as you can get, though.
Yeah,
Move to this one. Vicente Luque versus Joel
very sure.
Alvarez. Luque is 23-11 and won 16-7 in the UFC, coming off a submission loss to Kevin Holland, and he's the big plus 380 dog. Alvarez is 22-3. He is 7-2 in the UFC on a three-fight win streak. Most recently, first round knockout win over Drakkar Close, and he is the minus 500 favorite. Now, again, like a previous fight or like the fight earlier, these guys are close in age, but Alvarez is the prospect. He's moving up to 170, which I believe was also the plan for him as he was a huge 155er and the weight cut was getting hard. Um, Alvarez is very, very good. I think he'll find a finish in this fight. These guys are just on tr different trajectories in their career. Luque is tough, but give me Alvarez by finish. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like Alvarez. Just don't get caught by submission by Luque, vintage Luque, of course. But Alvarez, I like his aggression. That's the biggest thing. His aggression, his way of maintaining the surrounding environment around him, making sure the distance is correct. I love it.
Cool.
And like
Both
you
on
said,
Joe.
inside the distance by finish.
There
Yep.
you go. Both on Joel Alvarez by finish, as I believe. I'm sure a lot of people will be. Co-main of co-main event of the evening, Davison Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. Figgy is 24-5. He is 13-5-1 in the UFC. Two-fight losing streak. Most recently, second round knee injury loss to Corey Sandhagen, where he was losing pretty convincingly before, and he is the plus 250 dog in this fight, fighting Montel Jackson. Is 15-2. He is 9-2 in the UFC and has not lost since 2020. He's on a six-fight win streak. Most recently, a decision victory over Daniel Marcos on the same card Figgy fought Corey in May of this year. He is the big minus 310 favorite. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Montel Jackson is going to win this. Even though I'm very high on Davison Figueiredo, I thought he was going to do very good in the bantamweight division. That move up was pretty good on him. First two fights were good. Then now he's in a two fight losing skid. We have to take into consideration his last fight. Even though he was doing pretty good, his knee got messed up. Davison Figueiredo has been in some wars, especially with Brandon Moreno. Their four
Yeah.
fight, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. Um, yeah, I think Montel Jackson, like you said, is probably he's in a whole different realm, and I think he's gonna win this. Don't know if it's gonna be by inside edition or inside the distance or by decision, but I like him. He also has the advantage in the height and in the reach. Very, very, uh, very different. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Montel Jackson in this fight.
I agree with you. I do think he's going to win this fight. I don't think Jackson fights enough. He's been fighting once a year for so long. This is finally a second fight. He's fighting. This is his second fight this year. It's been like 4 or 5 years since he's done that. But I do think he'll win because, like you said, Figgy's last fight, he's getting older. He's slowing down. Years ago, obviously, I'm taking Figgy, no doubt. But right now, I'm taking Jackson. And I'm not even taking him based on his skill because I didn't think he was unbelievable against Marcos. I'm taking him because of Figgy slowing down pretty
Yep.
much. So yeah, give me Figgy or give me Montel Jackson, probably decision. I don't know. I think Figgy can survive. We will move to the main event of the evening. These guys need really no introduction, but Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. Oliveira is 35-11, 23-11 in the UFC, and coming off that KO loss to Ilia Topuria, and he is the slight dog right now in this fight. Gamrot is 23 or 25-3, 8-3 in the UFC, coming off a decision win over Ludovic Klein. He is the slight minus 118 favorite. I am very, very, very torn in this fight. Once this fight was announced, I was saying Gamrot will win this fight. Now I don't know. Gamrot's chinny. He gets rocked every fight. He's taking this fight on short notice, but he does have sneaky power and insane wrestling to get takedowns here. Oliveira, on the other hand, was training for a striker in Fiziev. Now he has a grappler and wrestler in Gamrot, which isn't the best. So I'm very, very torn. My mind keeps telling me take Gamrot to win this fight, but give me Charles Oliveira. I think Oliveira will crack Gamrot at some point and finish him. I just don't know how. So I'm going to take Oliveira for the finishing potential and the ability to crack Gamrot like everyone else seems to have the ability to do. But I'm not confident in any way, shape, or form. What are you thinking? Duranx?
Two bronze, two bronze. Even though he got chinned by Topuria, I think this is a little bit too soon for my liking. This is really, really too soon for my liking. I really wanted him to take
100%.
a little bit longer. Perfectly fine. Okay. The other hand, Gamrod, like you said, wasn't training. Sorry, wasn't in camp. Was still training, but wasn't in camp. I'm pretty sure Gamrot's only game plan is going to be, all right, stand on the feet, get the distance, and shoot for the takedown and work on the ground. Okay,
Yeah.
exactly what he did with Arman Sarukian. Okay, he's a high level wrestler. Okay, but we cannot forget what Oliveira did to Benil Dariush. Even though Benil Dariush and Matheus Gamrot are not on the same level and the same age, same aggression, no. Oliveira had a plan, and to keep it on the feet and like you just said, chin him. Well, no, not chin him. You didn't say that. You said that Gamrot is a little bit chinny, which I
Yeah.
think Oliveira is very, 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 very likely to do. We take a look at Dan Hooker's fight. What happened there? Gamrot went all the way to Australia and lost a split decision. Now he's flying to Brazil, not his hometown. Sorry, not at home turf. Yeah, I like Oliveira at plus odds on some books. I like it. I really, really like it. I don't know how it's gonna end. I'm excited to see it. But give me Dubron Oliveira
There you
at
go.
home. I believe he's what? He's an insane number. He's undefeated at home.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I don't think you not expect me to take Oliveira in this fight, right? Or did you not know? I'm a big
What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm a big Fade Oliveira guy for some reason. I'm like crazy.
No.
I'm not a I'm not as big of a Bronx fan as like I have nothing against the guy, but I'm just not crazy fan as I am like Pereira. But
Okay.
I think he wins
No,
this fight. So me
I see it.
taking him in this fight is kind of like big almost for me. So I don't usually do that. Like I had Topuria fucking him up. I had Islam
Oh yeah.
Makhachev ruining. Like I had Makhachev beating him bad, pretty much the way he did it. I had him knocking him down and subbing him right when he knocked him down, which he pretty much did. I had Surukian winning that fight. I had Dariush winning. I was like I'm a very big against Oliveira guy for some reason. I don't know why. Nothing wrong with him. I don't dislike him, but I just find myself picking against him a lot. But not
I
today.
see it. No, no.
The
I see
Bronx.
where you're coming from. Yeah. But Gamrot fighting, I mean, beating Klein in a unanimous decision, he hasn't shown me a lot of KOs. Even though he KO'd Fiziev, didn't really count.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. That was our UFC Rio Oliveira versus Gamrot breakdown. Till next time.